Camera thing.
Man, what's up, yo? Turn that camera back around. Turn that camera back around. RD, welcome to the Monday night episode. He flipped it again of the Deacon Board podcast. Tonight, I asked the question: is there a singer in the house? And I only asked that because I have one of my favorite singers here, and I'm not talking about Rob. I'm not talking about. I'm messing around. So tonight I got my big bro, William Richardson Jr. on, and of course I have my cousin Rob McLemore Sr. That's weird calling you Rob McLemore Sr. But there is a junior. They're gonna be joined by a couple other friends later tonight, but man, we're just going to talk. We're going to have a conversation. Will's up to some big things this week. He has a big concert down here in Charlotte that he's doing on Friday night. And then, of course, we're going to talk about how to get a hold of him, how you guys can go and pick up his albums online on all the streaming platforms. So welcome my guests.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, what's going on? The comment box is open for those that want to make comments. We're just going to have a good conversation with some friends. I mean, we're all family. We all grew up together. We all spent a whole lot of time together at 120 North Miller Street.
Oh my God.
we spent a lot of time together, singing in the radio choir together.
Wow.
Playing, rotating off of drums, trying to beat each other up. Who can get on the drums and play the most, or who gonna play the offering, and who going to sit there and just try not to get beat by their parents for doing crazy stuff during church service.
I got a lot of beatings.
Oh my God. We all did. We all had our fair share. So Will, what's going on with you, man?
Not much, man. I'm just, working hard and trying to make it do what it do.
Word. All right, Christopher Bottoms in the comments talking about call me. I'll call you later, Chris. Yeah, man. Listen. I let me say this right off the bat. And you. I don't know if you ever heard us say this, but we're all proud of you, man. We looked up to you. We looked up to you growing up, and I know. I said this before. You're like, whatever, Dante. You ain't really want to hang with the little kids. You didn't really want to hang with as much.
That is not true. You know why it's not true? You know why it's not true? Because one of them is right here, and I did run with him. I ran with him a lot.
Oh, you didn't run with us for some reason. You didn't run with us for some reason.
Because you was friends with my brother. I was trying to get away, okay?
Is that what it was?
No, I'm kidding. No. I'm kidding. It's not true. No.
It probably is true at one point. It probably is true. But listen, y'all
didn't want to hang with me. What are you talking about?
I mean, okay. I don't remember it that way. I really don't remember it that way.
Y'all didn't want to run with me. Maurice had his friends, so once he was with his friends, that was it.
Yeah, I mean, we hung tight too. We were hanging. We hung out tight. So look, I remember you going, and this is going to go way back. I remember when you first, of course, I've been listening to you sing all my life, so I've known you as a singer all my life. I remember when you went to Fisk.
Oh my God.
I remember when you came back home after Fisk, and I remember when you started singing with James Hall. I remember when you started doing your solo stuff. I remember all that stuff, man. So I can tell you that, very proud of you, very proud of everything that you accomplished, man. So we're gonna, just give you your props tonight. And so tell us about your career, man. What you've been doing, how we can find you, and what's next.
Well, for the last, I guess I say the last 10 years, 8-10 years. That's really what I've been focused on, my solo music. And it's been I'm going to say initially was challenging, but now it's been more of an educational experience. And now I feel like this is the 8th year since my first album.
Wow.
In this 8th year, I feel like all of a sudden now the rewards of the work that I put in are starting to come forward.
Can you name some of your albums? So the people could, or singles, so the people could know, and they can go out there and purchase it just like I did 15 times.
Yeah, purchase it.
You said 15 times.
15 times. Listen,
you gotta purchase
the people got to buy it. The people got to buy it. There's people that's in my church that still ask, when you come to sell, so I say you gonna buy the same CD?
Well, no, I have more than one CD, so that's great.
No, whatever they listen. They love some William Richardson.
Okay.
They love
Well,
William Richardson, and I think that's a great thing. So tell the people how they can buy it. I mean, I ain't mean to cut you off, Dante, but
No, you're good.
I'm
You're
all
good.
about my cousin
Exactly.
getting his due.
Correct.
thank you,
Go
Rob.
ahead.
I appreciate that. Well, my first album was entitled Majesty, the very first album I did, which Robert actually wrote a song on. The song was titled
What
"We
was
Worship
it?
You." We
That's what it
worship
is.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
We cry holy. Sorry, we
We
cry
cry
holy.
holy.
Right. It's actually
Yes.
cry. It's actually cry
Cry
holy.
holy.
Because
Cry
there's
holy
no.
is the name of the
I'm
song.
like, there's no worship you on that album. I'm looking at it like,
Well,
there's
the
no
worship you
you.
is one of the it's one of the lyrics in the song.
Right.
But it's the song is we cry holy, and Robert and his brother actually wrote that song for that project, and so that was my first album entitled Majesty. That was 2014.
Yep.
And since then I've been able to record 4 projects since then. So the second project we did was Love Light Shine, and we did a short version of it. Then we decided to extend it. So I actually recorded a song that my dad wrote like over 30 years ago on that project called Thou Art the Potter.
Okay.
And then I did my third album. It was self-titled called William. So we changed directions on that project. It was more of an inspirational soul, kind of R&B feel. Well, all of it's R&B feeling, but that one we specifically that direction. I think Rob, as a matter of fact, promoted the single "Celebrate Our Love," which his brother co-wrote with me, and I think it was you and your wife did the video of y'all dancing together.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was the first single we spun off that project, and that project did really well. We had that was my first project where I had a lot of featured artists, so that was a different experience. We had like B Slayers on that album.
Right. Yep.
Travis Malloy from Atlanta is on that album. Denton Arnell from Chicago, he's on there. Daniel L., who's actually my producer from the beginning until now, he's on there. Rodney Washington does a song with me. He actually does a song on my first album and on my third album. Who else? Oh, Reggie Parker, the bass, jazz musician. It was a song he had recorded on one of his albums, and I was like, I liked it so much. So I said, can I write lyrics to it? So I sat and I wrote lyrics to it, and I recorded that. And I think those were all oh no, what's his name? The gentleman, Elijah Ahmad Lewis from New York. He's currently starring in the musical on Broadway. Oh my God. It's escaping me at the moment, but it's going to come back to me. I'm going to tell you what it is when I remember, but he's on that project also. So I had a lot of features on that particular album, and that was a lot of fun. I don't think I recorded with any of them except for 2 in the same location. We did everything remotely.
Oh, wow.
So technology is so amazing, that we can do so much now. And so that was a great experience, actually. I think that was like one of the most fun times I've had. And then it seemed like after that project, it's always a challenge to record, but it felt like I got it down to a science. Like I understood what to do and how to do it all of a sudden.
Now,
if that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense. Now, vocally, you're a baritone. You are when people hear you sing, they say, your tone reminds them of Will Downing. And I know you've heard that. I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yes.
So for he's singing gospel late. No, I'm joking. For the ladies, he's singing gospel. Don't be out there, But Corey,
I don't just sing gospel.
I was going to say you have some inspirational music, some R&B music. I wouldn't necessarily call it secular music because
Well, some of it is R&B music. It's
right. It's
clearly it's
R&B.
R&B music. If you listen to the lyric content of
Yeah,
it, it's
no, love
definitely
songs,
R&B
but I don't know
music.
if love music is, if we should consider love music secular music, because God is love. I'm sorry, Pastor Macklemore.
No,
Saying,
see, but here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, because see, Dante always starting something.
Right.
Here's the thing about this is that me and William have our conversations, and I love the fact that he is versatile.
right,
He's just not one genre, not one and all that and screaming. He can rock that. He could do that. He could do the church thing, and we know that. But then he could switch over and be, and do a concert full of jazz musicians and
right.
all that other stuff. To me, I think that's great, and I totally support it. And I told him, I said, I'm waiting for the other stuff. I already know that he could do it. Listen, they crucified me all that when they did it to Jesus. He rose, so I'm gonna ride too.
You gonna rise again?
Did he get up or did he rise? He got up or did he rose?
No, for me, he got up. I don't know.
He got up. He got up for
he
me.
rose. But to me, it's like I appreciate William's versatility.
Right, right.
And it's the same thing with my kids. It's the same thing with my kids. Although they play gospel music and they they doing the organ stuff, but they rap stuff ain't
too shabby.
Dad, could you listen to this? And I'd be like, whoa, Lord, geez. And it'd be good, but I'd be like, whoa, like God, dog, like what words y'all using? And so,
wow.
And so to me, is more of, they appeal to that younger crowd.
Yeah.
And so all their people, all their boys and and people like that, they love that stuff. But what am I gonna say? He's 18 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? They learning the other side. And that's the thing that we as Christians gotta understand, is that there's another side as well. He ain't going out there being raunchy.
Right.
We singing some good songs. Right. And not only that, the people love him. And he ain't losing salvation.
Well, there you have it.
I don't understand that. He ain't losing salvation. What I'm saying.
Well, I have been at a crossroad musically with because I do want to do another excuse me, I'd like to do another R&B project, but I'd like to delve into some other content areas. But my thing was, I've always wanted to be cautious about what I say in the music. For example, like one of my favorite artists, which I think Rob knows, is, you should probably know too, but one of my favorite artists is Tank.
Tank.
Yeah, he's like one of the best singers ever.
Shout out to Darrell.
But Tank's content, unfortunately, is something that I've always been hesitant about doing.
I think
but wait, William, can I say this? And I understand that point. Most of your concerts is filled. Most of the concert is filled with Christians. Christians be in there. They talk. And Lord Jesus, I'm gonna get in trouble. Dante, why are you inviting me on here?
Man, go ahead and say what you got to say, man.
They be. Listen,
They listening to Tank.
Right.
Correct. They can shuck and jive and jerk and all that other stuff, but they'll go and buy that ticket.
Right.
And they listen to Tank. They listen to Genuine. They listen to Lucky Day. They listen to all these artists out there. So
Genuine, he's still out?
I guess, man.
Yes, he is.
Oh, that's when Dante. That's when you showing your age.
Man, listen, but they're still out
At
there.
At least say Jodeci.
I mean, that's even
really.
Worse.
That's
even worse. What are you talking about?
I love some Jodeci.
All the churches.
Well, Jodeci, they're actually still touring.
Right. They just finished up their tour.
Who don't love Jodeci?
Correct. So I think that is an interesting. Look, it's a balance personally for you, right? You have to figure out how far to the left or right you want to go.
But William,
but music.
Well,
but you can actually sing it, and you personally, I think Tank has no. I think Tank is so caught up in the machine that he goes to extremes to try to get record sales, whereas you wouldn't.
In his defense, though, I understand it. because the industry, the way that the industry is set up, the more you appeal to the baser nature of people, more sales you're gonna get.
Correct.
That's just how it works. People want you to tell them the dirty details, you
Oh
know.
my.
And I'm like, unfortunately, those are the songs that get the radio play. You know, those are the artists who they're gonna gravitate to that more so. But I just feel like there's still a space. That's why I continue to work hard, because there's still a space for individuals like myself who want to be in this particular lane. And I feel like, we continue, what's going to happen next. I believe that
Do you
the
see
next
yourself?
chapter.
Do you see yourself doing a R&B type? I mean, I know you already done something similar, but straight R&B.
Yes, I see that coming in the near future. I have two things
Good.
that I want to do. So I want to do actually three things in the makes that I want to do. So I've never done a holiday album. So I want to do that. And I'd like to do a live gospel album. And I want to do
That'd be
another
dope.
R&B album. So, I mean, I got a lot of things I want to do. It's just a matter of now, it's just planning, finding the right backers to finance it, because I understand that finance is a big part of what we need to do, and we need
Correct.
marketing and all that stuff, marketing, a publicist.
Mm.
So there are things that are needed for the next phase that I want to do. So
Right.
I just feel like now it's like it just took a while, but people just started catching on to even who I am within the last 2 years.
Well, that's
Then
okay.
the pandemic opened up a great door for that. So that was
Right.
awesome, because people had time to actually listen. So
Right. And you separated yourself. I think you separated yourself a little bit. The content, the albums are dope. I'll tell you the truth. If it's trash, I'll tell you, oh, well, that's trash. But you've never put out anything that I would say, yo, that's trash.
you know what I always focus on? One of the most important things to
I can't
me
with Dante.
when I was recording was making sure, if it wasn't for everybody, just making sure that sonically, the way it sounded,
Right.
that it was correct. So there was
Correct.
a balance. There had to always be a balance. And I would always say to my producer, listen, you need to leave me some headroom for the mastering. And also, the music should never overpower my voice. It needs to be about my voice. The music needs to be the dressing that completes it, not overtakes it.
So
Does that make sense?
that pedigree, that pedigree, that thought you have right there of the music never overtaking the singer. Where did you learn that? Where did you fine tune your chops?
Wasn't that
Well, the
grand?
found say what?
Nothing.
I know. I heard what he said. I would let that go.
Well, I will say this. It might sound weird, but I'm gonna give a little bit of that to my father, because it was always important that our voices was the focus. So his thing was, you need to be able to sing without the music.
Mm.
So then when the music comes, the music is only going to enhance what you can already do naturally.
Right.
So I think for me, that's where I got that part from. And then based on what I learned working in the studios and different artists that I got to work with over the years, but that's where it started. And then just as I worked on my own, it was really important to me that when I listened to other people's projects, I'd hear what I want and what I didn't want. So, and
I
I
can
think
say
it's a
this.
growing process. It's a definite growing process.
I can say this. Will that's William Richardson Sr. We call him Papa Willie because that's just what he is to all of us growing up. He was hard on us singing. You hit your notes, hit your parts, and he loves
Deliverance.
Right,
Deliverance.
and he will everything a cappella until y'all get it right. Until y'all get the notes right and get the blend right, everything is a cappella. I mean, and you guys, I should say you guys, William, Maurice, and Celeste, your brother and sister, the Richardson period, y'all were known for singing throughout, well, all over the place, and a lot of times y'all sang a cappella.
Yeah.
And the blends were perfect, the sound was perfect. So that's so shout out to Papa Willie and Mama Roseanne for honing that. I used to be scared of your mom.
Dante, I
scared
never
of my-
seen William be like change hats until he recorded that first album. I didn't like William when he did that first album. That first album up in Harlem or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Was that the
You
first
didn't.
one, William?
What do you mean you didn't like me?
You were so mean. But let me say this
Gosh.
because this
Oh
is so
God.
important. This is so important. We looked at it as mean only because you knew what you wanted.
Right.
You were
But
professional.
you know what
And
though? I would do that differently now
you
because I've learned
probably
so much
would.
since then. Yeah. I'd
But
be
you
more
know what, though?
gracious. Yes.
It taught us something too. It taught us that when you know what you want and when and this is your brand, then we got to give you what you want.
You have to
But
protect it.
there was
You have to
I
protect
seen
it.
CC was hurt that in the rehearsals too, and Raul. It was all of us, and we was like, wait, why are you acting like that? We from up here. We ain't New York, Brooklyn, or whatever them people are. And I was just like, man. But he was giving it to us though. He was giving it, and it made us change because it was the professionalism as well.
Well,
And that's what I seen it as.
the other thing to that too is I knew what I could see it.
You pushing
And
it
I was
out
just
of
trying to
us.
pull it out of you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it worked. It was rough, but it worked. But now, so like even now, since you brought that up, it was mentioned in rehearsal recently.
Uh-oh.
But
I didn't want to say. I was going to touch that.
the but was they were like, wow, you're different now, but it's still there, but it's just you learn how to deliver it differently now.
Nah, yo, no. Rob.
What happened? Tell the truth.
So
You can
he
tell the
said
truth.
something. He said something in
tell the truth.
rehearsal, and I was like, "Yo, he's 100%." I'm in the back. I'm like, "Yo, he's 100% correct. This is gospel 101. If you don't know this, get your behind up off the organ, nigga." Yeah, I don't care.
Dante.
I'm sorry. It is what it is. It is what it is.
I'm not touching that.
Yeah. yo, but he was, but what he said was a lot of these guys out right now, a lot of these young cats, they listen to CCM so much and they're ingrained in that CCM culture so much that it's the simple, the 5-4-1 changes that they can't play the other stuff. They can't play the older stuff. And so it wasn't that he was being mean about it, just that,
but they got to
this
know
is
the
what I
music
want.
too.
You got to know the music.
You got to know the music. You got to know what that artist wants. You can't come in there doing your own thing. Give the artist what they want.
Right.
And that's huh?
Dante, I hate you right now.
Wait, what happened?
Because he should have never went there.
I should have gone there, but it's funny. I don't care.
Anyway, but back to what you referenced earlier, Robert. So it was brought up, and basically, but they were like, everybody who had been involved in that particular experience all said together that it was, even now, it's just a matter of, here's what you need. This is the direction we're going to go in. I must show you how to do it.
Right.
So I don't just tell them how to do it,
Yeah.
but I'm going to teach you how to do it first, and then once I teach it to you, now you need to execute it. And, part of that I learned, and a lot of that I learned from, honestly, I'm going to give James all his props. James is a great teacher, and sitting in rehearsal and like all the years of rehearsing with him, I don't have to go to rehearsal every week or every month. I can go to rehearsal once every 6 months with him at this point. But before, we rehearsed every week on a Monday night for hours, sometimes Wednesday nights. And we would be in rehearsal for hours, but we would learn 5 to 10 songs in one rehearsal.
Wow. They don't do that anymore.
No.
But
they don't do that anymore.
But I did that in rehearsal. I told them what I wanted. I prepared them ahead of time. And in rehearsal, all I had to do was fine tune. And we did 12 songs in rehearsal. So
Can I give William his props? Can I give William his props?
Go ahead, Dad.
This is the man that kept me in church. Since we on live, I want to say this. He's the one that kept me in church. I was hurt by a church that I was going to. Well, just so happened to be going to, and they had a guest preacher. And if I say this, Dante, you'll know exactly who the preacher was from Florida. It was reported to me. He came to the church and he was like, God wants to use you. He wants to use you all around the world, but you got braids in your hair. You got to take out your braids.
What? That sounds stupid. I'm sorry.
Right?
Sorry.
So after that, I ain't go to church no more. And matter of fact, I wasn't going a lot. I was only going just to satisfy my mother and father.
And now you shout like him.
You crazy. You definitely wrong. Definitely wrong. So I went to Georgia. And then, that's when I'll stay with my brother and, trying to figure out life for myself. Going down there with the mentality of, this is what we all grew up in. I ain't gonna say the organization's name. This is what we all grew up in. So I'm going to the world of faith, and I'm sitting here like, wait, hold up. Y'all dressing like this and doing this and doing that. So, cause it was embedded in me. And so I was just like, man, this is wrong. All y'all wrong. And so then I came back home and I was like, I'm never going to church ever again.
Well, because you have to understand, you have to, before you give William his props on this and say what you say, I want to touch on this. We had a foundation, right? Our foundation is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. And what we sometimes forget is the foundation is what you build on. Mm-hmm. So you have to, so I will never, ever talk bad about my foundation.
Right.
The things that worked, the things that didn't work,
right.
We leave them aside, but I had to build on that. And I think you've done a great job building on that, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Mm-hmm. So that's, let me just say
I would agree. I would actually agree with that too, Rob. You have built on, you've gotten past all the other things and made a choice to take what you learned and, like he said, and build it into something great at this juncture.
And not only Rob, but you did. So we all did. We all built something.
Well, can I give Will my props?
Go ahead and finish giving Will his.
So I said, I'll never go to church again. It ain't happening. I'm done. Like, that's it. So then I went to John Jay, and Will, first person, like, nah, bro, you come to church. He would make sure I was okay, make sure I was fed. He would come and look out for me. Even let me cut his hair so I can get a few dollars, different things like that. And I remember he took me to the church in Harlem.
Church was too long for him.
Yeah, it was long, bro. It was long. It was long. It was hot, bro.
It was hot.
My nose was bleeding, literally. My nose was bleeding. And I was like, yo, what is going on, bro? But my roommate would come with me, different things like that. And then I remember he took me on the bus trip because I think I was gonna go out somewhere, and he was like, "Nah, you coming to this concert with me," and so he took me on because that's when J.J. Harrison was still singing with y'all.
Oh my God, you really taking
being on the bus. I'm Kevin Bond because Kevin let me hold his briefcase while they was up there singing. And so I was like, oh, I'm an armor bearer today. Okay. So we went to, I think it was a church in Jersey or somewhere. And
could be, I don't know.
Wait. I need you to clarify something really quick. Because we have people up here that don't know William and don't know who that y'all is talking about or the people that you're mentioning. So mention who he was singing with and who you were with at that time and what year it was. It's just how far back it goes.
It was in the 90s. I think I went to college 90.
It was definitely in the 90s.
Yeah.
Right.
So he was with James Hall in Worship and Praise.
All right, just so you clarify, because everybody don't know that. We know.
And at that time, J.J. Harrison was singing with us at that time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember it was all on the bus and they was all talking. I was lost. You know what I mean? I don't. They was everybody knew each other, and it was like a big family. Like they all, and they welcome you in. So I was just sitting there, and William introduced me to everybody, and then they went and oh Lord Jesus, oh Lord Jesus. But William kept me in church. He kept me in church when I gave up, and so for me, I always give him his props, and he knows this. I give him his props because he kept me focused on what was important, especially what was important in life. And that
I
was the
think
foundation. Don't leave the foundation.
everybody has those moments though when they're just. I mean, I was disillusioned with the whole entity of church and Christendom for a good period of time. Actually, I was just telling somebody this earlier today. I was talking to another pastor, and I was telling him, I just came back to church 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I actually stopped going for 5 years, and that was a long time. But I think that was just because I was just, lack of a better word, I just got tired
Tired.
Burned out.
for what I get burned out. That's good too. I just got burned out of what I was seeing, and then working for organizations who really exploited my gift, but didn't want to for appreciate what it was.
Right.
So then when I went to work for a church and was making the money, then it was said that, oh, now he's selling his gifts. So those all those things, and then seeing the back offices of the churches and seeing what's going on behind the scenes and just
Listen,
being out there, it just was like, okay, you know what? I think I need to step away from all this for a while.
when you are behind the scenes, you can
Mhm.
see a lot, and if you're not prepared for it, it
Right.
can mess you up. And I would say, fortunately and unfortunately, we've all been in the scene and behind the scenes so
Yeah.
long that
Yeah.
we just it we can sift out we can sift out the nonsense quickly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Rob.
Keep it
I was
keep
doing
it
it.
clean
I had
because
to
I
keep
knew where
had
you
to
was
keep it
going.
clean. Had to keep it clean because Rob is up here. We can sift out the nonsense a little bit quicker than a lot of people.
Mm.
So I get it, and I understand it, and it's a shame that people. I don't know if this happens in other cultures, but in our culture, you hear that over and over again, where
Hmm.
you're not appreciated, where they take advantage, where they use and they burn you up and then they spit you out.
Hmm.
And I don't know why it happens so much in our culture, but I don't
Hmm.
know if it happens in the other culture. I wonder if it happens in the CCM culture. I mean, it's a good question. I mean, it's a,
Yes, it does.
Hey, first let me introduce our other guest. Dr. Charles Bowman is in the house with us. He's going to chime
Dr.
in here.
Bowman, Dr.
Doc-
Bowman.
this is my brother.
Doctor,
This is my brother Charles. He's a doctor.
doctor.
Hey,
Let me
So go
sit
ahead.
let me sit my
Answer
little
that.
self down.
it
But
absolutely happened. I mean, I had the privilege of, and it's funny listening to your stories. I see a lot of the same experiences in my own life, and it's encouraging in the sense that I've been through some of those things, whether it's the whole disillusionment with church, whether it's having somebody speak something about me over my life, but you're going to be used, but not until you fix this, something superficial and artificial about yourself. But having been in churches, and I did the whole church thing for a while, where I wanted to find something that looked more like heaven, that was more universal and integrated. And I found just as much there as it was in my traditional church background that they use you, you get spent, and they cast you aside when they're finished with you or when they have no more use for you. Because it's not even a matter of being finished.
Yeah.
It's once there's no more use for you, they are done. And
Where's
they
Corey?
go
He can
on.
talk on this.
Say what now?
I agree with that 100%.
Shut up, Robert.
He
I
was
agree
on
with
here.
that 100%.
I know he's up here. He said
But
he
I will.
Cause
But
Chuck is right. Can I still
yeah,
call you Chuck, or do I have to say Dr. Chuck?
no,
You're
I
funny.
don't think he's hung up on like
You're
that.
funny.
He's definitely not hung up on that
I'm not
title.
hung up
On
on it
title.
like that at all. So quit tripping. Quit tripping.
But I said all that to say, even though I had taken that hiatus away, I was still able to still channel my energy musically and still create, you know?
Let me ask you a
So,
question. Do you
okay.
think your relationship with Christ was deepened from the getting away from the church? I heard somebody say something the other day that
Most definitely.
a lot of times we get Jesus mixed up with the building of church.
Right.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
Right.
that a lot of people that are in church have it confused. They think that the church is Jesus when it
Right.
is. There are two separate things. So
Yes, I agree. I feel like
And
my
I think
my Christian experience changed having that time away and not having to be committed to anything or having to perform when I got there. But now I think over that time it just really allowed me to do more one-on-one, and also having to read and all that by myself. Just for me, it was great. Every night I would go, but I wouldn't necessarily. I would just go choice. I mean, because that was the place that was giving me what I needed for this chapter of my life.
mm-hmm.
makes sense. Charles, you were going to say something?
No, I mean, one, to your point earlier, I remember when I was most actively involved with church here, and I was kind of beleaguered and frustrated by all the things that I was seeing because I got so very involved and so very close to things. And one of the elders pulled me aside and said to me, Brother Charles, are you familiar with the Mona Lisa? And I said, well, yes, I am. And would you agree that it is a priceless work of art? Well, yes, I would. Well, what makes it priceless? Well, the innovative artwork, the creativity for its time, its timeless characterization of something. I went through a whole bunch of stuff. The nerd in me started talking, trying to find this perfect answer. And
hold on one second. Hold on 1 second. I need to do something really quick. Hold on. I need to add. I need to re-record. So just so you know, so we're having some technical difficulties evidently on Facebook, and
no worries. And I got to jump off in a second anyway. Moonlighting.
Yeah. I understand. Finish saying what you were saying. I'm gonna have to. I'll grab this back. Go ahead.
No worries. But they said, but if you get really, really close to the Mona Lisa, what will you see? And before I could answer, she said, you're going to see its cracks. You're going to see its imperfections. You're going to see its age. You're going to see its wear. And she said, but does it make it any less priceless? Does it make it any less valuable? Does it make it any less significant in what it is? And when I answered no, she says, you have to change your perspective about things. And it's your perspective on what you see, whether it's us thinking that Jesus is the church or thinking the two synonymous, or thinking that somehow I have to conform to an image to be able to be used by God. Any of those things are just grave mischaracterizations of both faith and substance. And we miss the opportunities to really have that intimate relationship. And if we're not careful, they can thwart and deny that relationship that we really need most desperately and intimately.
I like that.
Yeah.
It sounds good to me.
More of what
brothers,
we need.
I gotta run.
All right,
Good
brother.
to see y'all, though.
We'll see you on.
Bye, Charles. I'll see you
this
soon.
weekend.
Yeah, see real soon.
I really want to add. Hold on a second. Since we're not,
Huh?
hold on. Don't go anywhere.